We took 2 cameras. I can do one.
Homer! Marquita!
Ms. Kristen Shifka, a staff member in the Department of Geology, will lead us in the singing of O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please be seated. I declare the June 2009 Convocation assembled for the granting of degrees. Mr. President, members of the Board of Governors and Senate, faculty, honored guests, graduate, and friends, my name is Brant Louie, and I am the Chancellor of this university. This is our 44th annual Convocation, and we are delighted and honored to have in attendance today a number of distinguished guests on the platform and in the audience, including friends and colleagues of the university, representatives of our fellow educational institutions, the federal and provincial government, and the council officials. A special welcome is given to Mr. Richard Lee, MLA for Burnaby North. I am pleased also to welcome our audience from around the world joining us via the internet through today's live webcast. Welcome to you all. This afternoon, an honorary doctorate of laws will be conferred on Richard Enriquez. Today is an important milestone. Today we gather to acknowledge and celebrate your efforts and achievements as you formally accept the credentials you've worked so hard to accomplish. Today marks the completion of an important leg in your life's journey and the start of another. It was the 19th century English clergyman Edwin Paxton Hood who advised, "Be as careful of the books you read as the company you keep, for your habits and character will be as much influenced by the former as by the latter." Today, as you stand with your fellow graduates, surrounded by the family, friends, and faculty who have supported and encouraged you on your journey, I am confident that you have good reason to be proud of both the books you have read and the company you have kept. Since opening its doors to its first 2,500 students in 1965, Simon Fraser has proved itself to be a world-class academic institution, earning a proud reputation for its bold initiatives, its willingness to take risks, and its unfailing commitment to the ideal that learning is a lifelong journey. Built on the foundations of value that celebrate discovery, diversity, and dialogue, it took on the motto, "Nous sommes prêts," we are ready. This bold statement of capacity and intent has held true for over 4 decades, and they are the words that will carry us into the future. As you walk across the stage today and take that next important step towards your future, you carry with you the honor and pride of accomplishment that comes with earning your degree at one of Canada's most distinguished and respected universities. Last year, Simon Fraser was ranked as Canada's top comprehensive university and is one of the best employers in the country. In 2008, we set a new record for first-year students with enrollments over 5,500. And in June last year, Krista Gerlich Fitzgerald crossed this convocation dais as this university's 100,000th graduate. Today it's your turn. We are ready, and thanks to your commitment and efforts, you are ready. You are ready as individuals to fulfill your own unique destinies. You are ready as graduates of Simon Fraser University to join the global community of alumni who are pioneering new frontiers worldwide, working to find balance in shifting economies, battling climate change, and spearheading innovation to resolve global health issues. From North America to as far afield as Europe, Asia, and Australia, the contributions and success of our Simon Fraser alumni continue to build the prestige and reputation of our university, and I am very confident you will do the same. As I was preparing for today, thinking about what would be the right message to share with you, I considered the nature of the world into which you are graduating. Right now, we are experiencing a time of unprecedented upheaval, crisis on the global scale. The automotive industry is in battle. The financial service sector is under siege. The environment is at risk, energy resources finite, and there is political unrest and brinkmanship across the globe. And I was reminded of the old saying, may you live in interesting times. There is some disagreement as to whether this saying is intended to be a blessing or a curse. On the one hand, interesting times can be unstable, unpredictable, and dangerous. On the other hand, interesting times offers opportunity, challenge, and possibility. It was Sir Winston Churchill who observed, a pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. So I encourage you to take the optimistic version of interesting times and seek out the unique opportunities that our current situation has to offer. I believe that it is in interesting times that we encounter the most meaningful opportunities for reinvention and transition. I believe it is in interesting times that we find the opportunity to be collaborative in our efforts against shared enemies and in meeting challenges. I believe it is in interesting times that we shake the comfort of the status quo and explore alternatives for progress. And I believe that it is only in interesting times that we find ourselves in the circumstances that support innovation and evolution. It has been noted that during the more stable, predictable periods, society tends to be less willing to embrace change or challenge the status quo. But in times of crisis or upheaval, mankind has proven itself to be both resourceful and adaptable. It is, as the Greek philosopher Epicurus observed when he said, there is, in the worst of fortune, the best chance for a happy change. As graduates, you are at the threshold of the next chapter of your own personal journey. The bad fortune of our current economic crisis may prove itself to be that same chance for a positive change. And in many ways, our global society is similarly poised on the threshold of change, transition, and reinvention. We have already seen evidence to support the optimistic view of these interesting times. Recently, we saw how the profound and seemingly insurmountable political, social, and economic crisis facing the United States provided a canvas for renewed optimism and support for Barack Obama's psychology of hope. In November of last year, we witnessed a disenfranchised, disinterested electorate, galvanized by the hope with the rallying cry of "Yes, we can." One of the areas that may benefit the most from the current crisis is the environment. With more and more people becoming aware and concerned about climate change and the environment, the topic has become a necessary plank in the platforms of most political parties and politicians around the world. There has been an increased focus on stricter environmental regulations, which in turn has laid down the gauntlet for many industries and sectors to adopt and transition to comply with these new standards. Even a seemingly unrelated area like the financial sector has gone green. The current economic crisis has put the world's financial system at risk. This year, the G20 summit held in London last April called for the collaboration and alignment of world leaders and thinkers to work together to try and resolve the crisis. The published outcome of the summit included, as one of its stated objectives, the shared goal to promote global trade and investment and reject protectionism, to underpin prosperity and build an inclusive, green, and sustainable recovery. It seems that these interesting times have not distracted us from our strongly held and shared concerns for the sustained health and protection of our environment. These interesting times have also caused the beleaguered automotive industry to increase its focus and investment in fuel efficiency technology and alternative fuels in an effort to reach their customers. And last year, in response to world pressure and opinion, we saw China contain and in some cases reverse their pollution levels as part of their preparation to host the Summer Olympics. When it comes to the subject of the environment, I am reminded of a quote by Andy Warhol, who said, "They say that times change things, but you actually have to change them yourself." I have a feeling that yours is a generation that will guide us to that change and help us secure a healthy, sustainable future. Now I realize that even though these interesting times may well prove to be the catalyst for opportunity and reinvention in the future, the unprecedented scope of the global economic crisis we face still poses a real and immediate risk and is certainly a cause for concern. When we find ourselves in uncharted territory like this, the familiar economic indicators and established trends upon which we have relied for over 3 generations are no longer reliable signposts as we navigate our course. People are increasingly anxious for the answers to important questions like, when will this all end, and is the worst still to come? I've been fortunate that in part due to my role as the director for one of the major Canadian banks, and in part through my involvement with the World Economic Forum, that I've had the privilege to work with some of the brightest and most talented economic experts in the world. And so while no one without a crystal ball can claim to know the future, I want to offer my analysis and make some predictions. Firstly, and most importantly, I believe there is reason to be hopeful. While the peaks and valleys have consisted of record-breaking highs and unprecedented lows, the swings in the market seem to be holding to established and predictable economic patterns. And within these patterns, we have seen evidence that markets have shown signs of trying to correct themselves. As we saw at the end of last year, there was a fourth quarter rally of about 15%, and then a mini recovery in the first quarter of this year up until the end of February. March saw us test the new lows, which further offered evidence of the obstacles still ahead on our path to recovery. By the end of April, we had some reason to be optimistic as we entered 9 weeks of an upswing, but at that time it was too early to predict whether this was the beginning of a sustained recovery or the false dawn of a bear rally. Certainly at the time of writing this speech, the markets revealed the upswing was holding its course. So what will it mean to you, and what will it take to recover? At the moment, we are seeing the U.S. housing markets bottom out in pricing, supply, and housing starts, with refinancing of existing mortgages being made available through newly nationalized banks. We can anticipate lower carrying costs on mortgages. Lower housing costs, lower mortgage rates means there should be more disposable income in your hands. Refinancing of existing mortgages through these nationalized banks should also see lower carrying costs. When interest rates and mortgage rates remain low, the result is that we see more disposable income in the hands of the consumer. The key to our economic recovery is consumer confidence, and we will rally from this crisis only when the consumer sees hope. Unfortunately, at this moment, all the consumers are seeing are bailouts. They don't see evidence of a plan for the future, only a reaction to the immediate crisis, and they are fearful that governments are throwing good money after bad. One of the most powerful influences on consumer confidence is the media. How media reports on this crisis continues to be one of the most powerful influences on consumer opinion. While it seems to have improved slightly in recent weeks, the primary focus of the media appears to have been broadcasting a message of doom and gloom. After all, good news doesn't sell newspapers, and so while people were watching TVs and buying newspapers, they are actually being shortchanged because of the lack of access to objective, balanced reporting and analysis. And ironically, this situation is proving to be an example of careful what you wish for. The doom and gloom scenario put out by the media may prove to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. You see, the same news that sells newspapers and erodes consumer confidence slows spending, and this means that we are at an increased risk of talking ourselves into a deeper recession than is warranted. Right now, current consumer confidence levels range from overly sensitive to bad, and while we've been talking about the recession for a while, we are now just beginning to feel its impact. Industries affected have only just begun to lay off workers because we've been reading about the recession for months. We have reacted to the news in advance of the reality that may now be impacting us, our family, and our friends. On an optimistic note, however, I believe that at some point in the near future, consumer confidence will bottom out and then will begin to rise as unemployment rate levels off and begins to improve. With hindsight comes foresight, so what have we learned by this? We know that overzealous spending drove stock prices higher than their true value, and we know that fear and panic caused these same stocks to drop in many cases to below their fair market value. So far, Canada has weathered the economic storm relatively well compared to other countries. Our banking system, once criticized for its highly conservative regulatory framework, is being held up as the poster child for banking reform. It is this same mantra of prudent fiscal management that will be needed to replace the pre-crisis levels of excess and impulsivity. Now, what does this mean to you? Well, you represent our future. You are the economists, philosophers, scientists, poets, engineers, and entrepreneurs who will shape the next 40 or 50 years. You will be at the forefront of the reinvention and transformation we need to secure a prosperous future for the generations to come. These are interesting times, and they will require us to reinvent ourselves, especially for a resource-based economy like Canada, because our ability to move to recovery continues to be tied to the resource needs of other nations. We are relying on you to build capacity, process more of our own resources, and transform our economy. Over the next decades, we will have to transform ourselves, repositioning from supplying lumber to IKEA, from supplying oil to becoming a Shell, from supplying fresh, clean water to becoming a Perrier. You will help us transition our history as drawers of water, hewers of wood, and pumpers of oil. Barack Obama recently said, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek, and you are that change." In 1966, 1 year after Simon Fraser opened its doors, Robert Kennedy spoke at the University of Cape Town in what was then apartheid South Africa. Robert Kennedy, in his address, also made reference to the quote about living in interesting times. So in closing, I thought I would share some of his message, which for different reasons I believe is as relevant to us today as it was back then. Robert Kennedy said, "Like it or not, we live in interesting times. These are times of danger and uncertainty, but they are also more open to the creative energies of men than any other time in history. And everyone here will ultimately be judged, will ultimately judge himself on the effort he has contributed to building a new world society and the extent to which his ideals and goals have shaped that effort." Again, my congratulations to you all, and thank you. I now call upon our President, Dr. Michael Stevenson.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to add my warm welcome to SFU, especially during this heat wave on Burnaby Mountain. We're delighted that so many friends and family have joined us to celebrate the achievements of those graduating today. Members of the graduating class, let me add my congratulations to those of Chancellor Louis and add to his suggestions that you view this time of crisis also as a time of optimism, that you see this time of crisis as a time of opportunity. It is a time of opportunity for those who have the creativity to make it so. Creativity will be required to produce the new technologies and public policies that will stimulate real and environmentally sustainable economic growth. Creativity will be required to moderate the social divisions and antagonisms based on heretofore increasingly unequal shares of income, to provide for social security and critical public investments in health and education as we manage the massive public debts generated by this crisis. Creativity will be required to transcend the irreconcilable oppositions between religious fundamentalisms and to produce global security in a multipolar world. If creativity in all these dimensions is required to get our way out of this crisis, where will it be found? Fortunately, we can be confident of the answer. Creativity will be found in urban communities like Greater Vancouver. In such communities, social diversity creates a tolerance of cultural and lifestyle difference, an openness to the creative fusion of alternative perspectives, a multilingual capacity to speak and to think across social and national boundaries, the imaginative capacity to think from other points of view, and the embrace of innovation in all things, whether in art and architecture, fashion and design, or business and commerce. Communities like Greater Vancouver are creative cities, also because they are home to great universities, whose distinctive mission is to create the skills and research competencies that qualify students and enable them to make original contributions to knowledge themselves. You are privileged to have been educated in one of the world's most vibrant creative cities, and you are graduating from one of the world's most exciting universities. At SFU, the commitment to innovation, creativity, and the embrace of bold initiative reflects the legacy of the radical university founded in the 1960s, and it is built into the physical structure of the campus itself. You graduate today in Arthur Erickson's great Convocation Mall, the center of SFU's campus. Flanked by the library and student services building and the theater, this mall is literally the crossroads of the campus, linking to the academic precincts beyond. The integration of facilities around the mall encourages interaction, conversation, and dialogue across departments and faculties which are siloed elsewhere in separated structures. And this has stimulated SFU's unique tradition of interdisciplinary innovation in teaching and research. The centrality in Erickson's design of the library as a common center of learning, of student services, and of public spaces for ceremonial and cultural activity underlines SFU's commitments to the importance of extracurricular life, to learning and creativity outside of the classroom. Erickson's profound commitment to building that is open to and sensitive to the natural environment reinforces our commitment to environmental sustainability. And Erickson produced a supremely creative fusion of multiple architectural vocabularies, references to Mayan, Mughal, Japanese, and classical Greek traditions. And this fusion reinforces our commitment to thinking of the world. We mourn the passing of Arthur Erickson a few days ago, but his great legacy lives on. As graduates of SFU, I hope you will cherish his commitment to innovation and creativity, to the building of truly livable communities, and to a profound respect for the natural world which sustains us. I know that if you do, your lives will be enriched, and we can face the future with optimism. On behalf of all of us at SFU, congratulations on your achievement today, and our very best wishes for your future success and happiness.
The honorary degree will now be conferred. Mr. President, will you present the honorary degree candidate, Richard Enriquez?
Stand so they cannot see you all. Mr. Chancellor, Richard Enriquez is a prominent figure in Canadian and world architecture. Possessed of a transformative imagination and an artist's eye, he has spent his life engaged in the search for meaning through art and architecture. In so doing, he has made a unique and lasting contribution not only to Vancouver's architectural and cultural legacy, but also to Canada's. Born and first educated in Jamaica, he studied architecture at the University of Manitoba, where he graduated in 1964. He subsequently earned a Master of Arts in Architecture and Urban Design at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He began practicing in Canada in 1966, and 3 years later founded Henriques Partners Architects in Vancouver. Since then, he has designed some of our most distinctive, innovative, and striking buildings. The diversity of his built environments is truly impressive. A few of the most notable examples would include Eugenia Place, the Sylvia Hotel Tower, and the Sinclair Center, each a vibrant Vancouver landmark. With equal inventiveness, he has designed memorable institutional buildings such as the British Columbia Cancer Research Center, the Kinesiology Wing of Al Shrum Science Center, the Michael Smith Laboratory, Trent University's Environmental Sciences Building, the Capilano University Library, and the Birch Building. Each of Richard Henriques's creative contributions signifies that for him, architecture is about much more than function. In imagining his built environments, he respects human ritual, incorporates accessible symbolism, and draws on history, both real and invented. As a true artist, he infuses every work with meaning. His buildings invite contemplation as much as use, for to enter any one of them is to become part of a narrative complete with symbol, mythology, and history. Richard Henriques generously shares his vision of architecture through lectures that take him across North America and to Europe and South America. His designs and sculptures have been exhibited in many venues across this country. He was an invited participant in the Venice Architecture Biennale in 1996 and the Canadian representative at the International Biennale in Buenos Aires. It is truly fitting that the firm he founded so many years ago is now the design firm and his son Gregory Henriques the lead architect of the Woodwards redevelopment, the transformational project which includes the new home of SFU's School for the Contemporary Arts and will have significant effects in reshaping the future of Vancouver and its downtown east side. His work has earned him many honors and accolades at the international, national, and provincial levels. In 2005, the Royal Architectural Institute of Canada, of which he is a fellow, recognized him with its gold medal. And today, we pay tribute to his originality and brilliance. Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of this university, I ask that you now confer upon Richard Henriques the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Richard Henriques, by the virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Mr. Henriques will be hooded by Dr. John Driver, Vice President Academics, and Ms. Kate Ross, Registrar.
Congratulations.
This way?
It is with pleasure that I now call on Dr. Richard Henriques for his convocation address.
Chancellor Louis, President Stevenson, members of the board, faculties, members of the faculty, honored guests, graduates in arts and social sciences, family and friends. My warmest congratulations to the graduates in arts and social sciences for 2009. It is an extraordinary honor and pleasure to share this occasion with you, with your family and friends. My sincere thanks to those who nominated me and to the university for conferring on me this degree. Graduates, as with your degrees, mine should be shared by those who have supported me and are part of my personal and professional life. Many of them are here today, including two of the most special, my grandson and granddaughter, Jacob and Sarita Henriquez. Graduates, I'm sure that every one of you has a fascinating personal story. I suspect that more than a few of these have to do with ancestral belonging to Canada or immigration from foreign lands. All of you must realize, though, how fortunate you are, firstly, to live in this amazing country, and secondly, to be graduating from this amazing university. I guarantee you that these two advantages alone will ensure for you a better future than the vast majority of people on the planet. Since we're at slightly different places in our careers, I should like to offer a few observations. Now, I know that these are not going to be life-changing comments that I'm going to make. I don't remember a single thing that was said at my graduation. And so, notwithstanding that, however, I would like to say a few things about a strong support system on the one hand and balance between life and work. When I was 12, I joined a Boy Scout troop. Carved into a rock overlooking our campsite were the words, "No man liveth unto himself." Now, these words meant absolutely nothing to us at the time, particularly if we had forgotten to dig a trench around the tent and were flooded out in the middle of the night. But I suggest to you that it would be wise to strive to develop balanced lives that includes people in addition to those that are part of your chosen careers. I speak of the involvement in culture, community, and with family and friends. I speak of caring for your health and of the enjoyment and preservation of nature. Take the time to nurture your body and your spirit and to maintain a support network of people who you will all need. You all absolutely need people who can mentor you, love you, and who are committed to your survival as a human being. I have been most fortunate to be supported for most of my life. I grew up in Jamaica as part of a large extended family. From the time I was 10, I dreamed that I was going to be an architect and that my grand-uncle would teach me architecture. He was an artist, architect, engineer, and he was my hero. He took me to see buildings under construction, and he taught me to love the smell of paint. His son, Morris, a gifted aeronautical engineer and architect, mentored me as a young student when I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to attend university at the to study architecture at the University of Manitoba. I fell in love with an amazing lady who I married in third-year architecture. My wife, Carol, has supported me for 46 years in every possible way. While I finished university, she worked, and also in my office in the early years. She took the major role in bringing up our children while I concentrated on developing a practice. She also launched her own career as founder and director of Arts Umbrella. 40 years ago, I started a community-based architectural firm that has evolved and grown over the years. Many dedicated and talented people have contributed to the production of the buildings we designed. Our son Gregory, who joined the firm 20 years ago, has made a name for himself as an architect. He is my partner and has given our firm new energy and is directing some of the most challenging and meaningful work that we are now doing. One such project is, is the Woodward's development downtown, home to the University of Manitoba, Simon Fraser University's School for the Contemporary Arts. This project, in effect a microcosm of the city, contains a diverse mix of uses. It will be home to a wide cross-section of people. Woodward's is not only about architectural design, the work that is done in our firm, or contemporary art education, the work that Simon Fraser does. It is about creating that which is much more important, culture and a balanced community. Culture and community give meaning to our lives and promote the values that make us truly human. We are now in a digital age. Each community's unique history, culture, and knowledge can now be easily shared with people in other parts of the world. I hope that environmental and economic imperatives in the world will encourage us to focus more of our energy away from the production of objects of consumption towards cultural pursuits. If this change occurs, then the role of Simon Fraser University's School for the Contemporary Arts will play in the community and become that more significant. The career opportunities that I have had in Vancouver, along with support from my family, friends, and colleagues, has allowed me to pursue my dream of being an architect, to raise a family, be part of a community, and to have what I think has been a balanced life. Although I know that your immediate goals concern finding work in your chosen fields, I am confident that each of you will find places for yourself that you can call home, as I have. I know that you cannot wait to start this new chapter in your life and to live your own dreams. I am confident, however, that with the education you have had from Simon Fraser University, you will rise to the challenge with integrity, creativity, intelligence, and passion. Graduates, I wish you on this most important day good health and continued success. And once again, thank you, Simon Fraser University, for this wonderful and unexpected honor. And thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Henriquez. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of this ceremony, the graduates are presented with a Simon Fraser University Alumni Association pin, and on this occasion, those pins will be handed out by Mr. Chris Hilliard, who holds 2 Bachelor of Arts degrees, one in economics, one in English, and sits on the SFU Alumni Association Board of Directors. He founded Peak Producers as a private consulting firm, capital consulting firm in 2003, following years of success in senior management within the capital markets. Mr. Hilliard has assumed senior management roles with a number of his clients and is the president of 3 other private corporations. It is a pleasure to invite Mr. Hilliard to the podium to bring greetings to the graduates. Mr. Hilliard.
On behalf of the Alumni Association, it is my privilege and my pleasure to congratulate all of you on your graduation. Today, as you begin your lives as members of the alumni community, you join over 100,000 SFU graduates worldwide. As you cross the stage, I will present you with a pin. I encourage you to wear it proudly as a symbol of your achievement and your alumni status. Wherever life takes you in the future, we hope you will keep the SFU spirit alive and well, and that you will stay connected to your alma mater and to your fellow alumni.
Thank you, Mr. Hilliard. Before the graduates are presented individually to the Chancellor, Dr. Clement Apak, a member of the graduating class today, will address Convocation. Born in Ghana, Dr. Clement Apak was the first international student to be elected to a University Board of Governors in British Columbia. He is a former SFU senator and president of the Student Society, and he is the founder of Canadian Students for Darfur, a humanitarian organization that has raised significant monies to help provide aid to refugees in Darfur. A recipient of multiple awards recognizing his advocacy and community service, Dr. Apak graduates today with a Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. He plans to teach, advocate, and someday run for elective office, whether here in Canada or in his home nation of Ghana. I'm pleased now to call upon Dr. Clement Apak.
Thank you very much. You know, I always thought that this day would never come. I know I have many friends here, and I want to thank all of you for the support that I've received over the years. I have with me here, as part of my guest, the Honorable Consul General of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. George Pipra, the President of the Ghana Association, and I cannot forget Auntie Beth, my mom away from home. I also have with me today my beautiful daughter, just about 1 month old, Kambe Apak. She's the second one I've had since I've been here at SFU for the past 8 years. The one before her was born actually in Louis Riel House, those of you who are on campus. So you see, my commitment to SFU is not new. Not only do I feel that I belong, but there is no way I'm ever going to forget about the time that I've had on this wonderful campus. But what people forget is that, like most things that happen in life, my presence here today was by accident. My original intention was to study at the University of Cambridge in England, where I was accepted after my master's degree in Norway. As it turns out, I didn't get funding, so I decided to check on the internet to see what I could find. I found Fraser University, and I applied. Thankfully, I am here today. And you know what? That was the best thing that ever happened to me. There is no way I would have been able to be who I am today and to have deserved this honor if I had not been to SFU. So I'm forever grateful to the opportunities that I've had on this campus. You know, most people have always said how they admire me for my ability to take on different causes. But what they don't know is that I'm an addict. I am addicted to humanity because I am the recipient of intoxicating generosity and kindness. Many people have helped me throughout my life, and therefore I have made a commitment that I'm going to give back. It is for this reason that I am leading an advocacy to get a visa for the brother of an African Canadian called Ibrahim Esando, so that he can come to Canada and donate a kidney to save the life of his brother. So on this particular occasion, I want to take this chance to ask all of you to contact the Minister for Citizenship and Education, Jason Kenney, and ask him that on compassionate grounds, he should let the visa be granted so that we can save a Canadian life. Here at SFU, I became president of the Student Society because somebody else cared about me. I was in Ethiopia doing my fieldwork when I received an email from Derek Harder, himself going on to become a president and graduating with me this year. I had emailed him, asking him to file my Senate nomination papers. He emailed me back in Ethiopia saying, would you consider running for president? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like in the middle of nowhere in Africa, hanging out with camel caravans and salt traders. How can I run for president at SFU? He emailed me back to say, I just need you to say yes. And I said yes. I only said yes because I thought it was not going to be possible. But boy, was I wrong. As it turned out, not only did Derek and our team persuade the Electoral Commission to let me stand for president, but they prepared my whole campaign platform as well as my campaign material. But this is the kicker. They actually made a life size of me and carried the other me to campaign events. I arrived back. This is true. This is the incredible stories about SFU that you need to hear. I arrived back on campus only 4 days before the election, and I won. You know why I won? On this very same platform, as I read in the student newspaper, Derek asked the students of SFU to imagine him a white boy as a 6-foot-tall, charismatic black man. And you know what? The students did. That is how I became president. Now, what does that tell you? The moral of this story that I'm sharing with you is that we have an obligation to care about other people. And that is what we must not forget. We are graduating at a very critical time in our history. The world is facing monumental challenges. But I know that we are qualified and we have been trained and we've been given the skills to be able to make a difference in this world. And so to my fellow graduates, as we like to say in Ghana, Ayiko, which means we have done it. We have done great. But that is just the beginning of our work. You look around the world, issues of conflict and war, poverty, we have climate change. There is still the need to fight for equality for the sexes, particularly for women. Our task is not easy. But with the training that we have received on this campus, I am more than convinced that we are going to turn those challenges that our generation is facing into opportunities. Much more like we are going to advocate to stop the genocide going on in Darfur and working to protect the 6-year-old girl who has suffered multiple rapes, so too are we going to use the power of technology to mobilize millions, many more millions, to join us in the effort to change the world. We must care for each other in this time of global economic downturn by sharing what we have with one another. We must change our habits to protect the environment. And above all, we must make it our life's work to ensure that there is true equality for women, because you know what? They hold the key to the better world that we have been dreaming of. It is about time that we commit to ensure that there is true equality so that women can join us in the effort to indeed make the world a better place. So as I finish, I know it's going to take a lot of work. I know it's going to take a lot of passion. I certainly have passion. I think you do too. And I know it's going to take sometimes some level of stubbornness. But I've always said, if you are going to be stubborn in the service of humanity, that is stubbornness that is welcome. After all, the best you can ever give is to put your best effort in the service of humanity. So as we congregate today and graduate, I wish us all well. It's the beginning, and we have a lot of work to do. So let's enjoy it for now. But to those that a lot has been given, a lot more is required. Much more like we have reached here because of the support and love of other people. So too must we commit to ensure that that 6-year-old girl in the refugee camp in Darfur someday would wake up and have a cause to celebrate life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Apak. The members of the graduating class will now be presented to the Chancellor to be admitted en masse to their degrees. Will the graduates please rise? Mr. Chancellor, I present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of this university, and I request that you confer upon each one the degree for which he or she is now recommended.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to your various and several degrees. Will the graduates please be seated?
The members of the graduating class will now be presented individually to the Chancellor, but before they are, can I just make a few points of order? First, would you please refrain from applauding individual members of the graduating class until each group of degrees has been conferred. This does not forbid spontaneous expressions of enthusiasm. As a courtesy to others, will you please remain seated until the conclusion of the ceremony? And would the graduates please return to your seats following receipt of your degrees? The degrees of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences will now be conferred. Mr. Chancellor, the Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Wade Parkhouse, will announce the names of the candidates for graduate degrees.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. The candidates will be hooded by Dr. Leslie Cormack, the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Thank you. Dr. Douglas Ross. Dr. Ross completed his doctorate in archaeology. His senior supervisor was Dr. Ross Jameson. Dr. Clement Apak. Dr. Apak completed his doctorate in the Department of Archaeology. His senior supervisor was Kathy Andrea. Dr. Alyssa Webb. Dr. Webb completed her doctorate in the Department of History. Her senior supervisor was Dr. Mary Lynn Stewart. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Claire Askew. Catherine Craven. Kendra Gill. Jonathan Hall. Christopher Hergeshmeyer. Benjamin Millen. Simeon Parvantes. Kevin Pat Fong. Caitlin Pelche. Lynn Safre. Sarah Spear. Rick Steinweg. Robert Graham Stewart. Zoe Zaslow. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the degrees, or the candidates for the degree Master of Arts, Liberal Studies in the Faculty of Art and Social Sciences. Angela Allard. Christopher Carl Beach. Dale Derechuk. Karen DeVito. Leanne Dospedal. Susan Gray. Omar Isley. Jean Kosar. Bonnie Zablotny. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree Master of Publishing in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Leslie Bottle. Carolyn Boyd. Julia Harrell. Lindsay Lynch. Julie Morris. Paula Kitnar Saratek. Murray Tong. Andrew Wilmot.
Mr. Chancellor, the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, Dr. Leslie Cormack, will present the candidates for undergraduate degrees in her faculty.
Mr. Chancellor, I now have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Andrew Aikenhead, Christopher Alionis, Catherine Allen, Elvira Maggie Antle, Jessica Oberton, Colleen Austin, Laura Baker, Jordan Ballard, Albert Bang, Nicole Bangloy, Wendy Barber, David Barraquero, Maria Gladys Bashi, Justin Basinger, Kelsey Beaudry, Carolyn Bell, Samantha Bendo, Maurizio Bermudez, Jeffrey Beveridge, Gurminder Bango, Sakdeep Bhatti, Kalbir Singh Kevin Biln, Paul Biln, Sunpreet Binar, Stacy Bishop, Samantha Blair Dickens, Erin Baucus, Azaria Botta, Carolyn Ann Budgell, Megan Brand, Marilyn Brennan, Natasha Brown, Renee Burke, Patrick Burnett, Kelly Burns, Monica Bernstad, Dylan Byrne. Michael Byun. Sasha Rannan Marlon Caldera. Nellie Callow. Christopher Kamak. Nicole Campbell. Sarah Costin Stewart. Mabel Cham. Catherine Chan. Claudia Chan. Courtney Chan. Lloyd Chan. Michelle Chan. Vanessa Chang. Susan Chow. Ivy Chung. Calvin Ching. Heeman Chu. Bruno Chu. Cynthia Chu. Jana Conran. Laura Cook. Whitney Crawford. Stephanie Crowell. Stacy Cunningham. Nicole Curtis. Erica Davis. Kristen Day. Maria Del Guarcio. Kathleen Denchfield. Aaron Durkach. Faraz Devji. Rajni Daliwal. Jesse Daliwal. Amy Dick. Laura Dixon. Kyle Dirksen. Lisa Dojak. Jacqueline Dorman. Rajvinder Dasaji. Meredith Douglas Moore. Blair Dreger. Carly Edmonds. Elise Eman. Reda Hassan Alashi. Shahira El-Babari. Christina Emott. Lacey Irwin. Oh, wait. Stephen Evanson. Janet Fan. Mona Fariji. Sheena Fayowski. Gabrielle Franklin. Jillian Franklin. Elisa Fung. Wilson Fung. Francesco Gallegos. Nicola George. Danielle Garnier. Corey Gibson. Robin Gilker. Jazzy Gill. Sukhvir Gill. Sarah Gleason. Catherine Lise Graham. Anna Gran. Arthur Gregoris. Alia Griffin. Cornelia Guevara. Luam Habtom. Edward Haddon. Sarah Hall. Jennifer Hamilton. Miriam Hashmi. Pui Chi Hao. Samantha Hembroff. Cheryl Hennig. Kelly Hibbets. Carlene Hill. Ten Harai. Daphne Ho. Stephen Holdak. Sean Hooper. Amelia Huang. Stephanie Hoyer. Louise Hucken. Deno P. Hurst. Nabila Hussein. Joy Huang. Jillian Ickert Plett. Sharon Inkpen. Jared Insel. Beverly Irvin. Robin Janes. Ruby Ravneet Kaur Jasal. Morgan Palmer Jeffrey. Elizabeth Johnson. Christy Jung. Nadia Kadhim. Mashud Kamal. Faye Kang. Abdullah Carbo. Sarah Kay. Rupinder Kangura. Bhupinder Kosha. Grace Kim. Sue Kim. Delaney Kitching. Brad Claver. Christopher Klimek. Sandra Knudsen. Eric Cook. Katerina Kolar. Irene Corres. Karen Kosazova. Robert Karjewski. Timmy Kwan. Eva Lay. Jessica Lai. Benson Lai. Tanya Laird. Sandeep Lal. Billy Lamb. Jackson Lamb. Nan Lam. Graham Lancaster. Kelly Langford. Cheyenne Lau. Matthew Lau. Julia Lawton. Hoyen Lee. Bernard Lee. Boram Lee. Melissa Lee. Jane Lemke. Erin Leslie. Hannah Lee. Juliet Lee. Anthony Lee Lam. Winston Lin. Tasso Levaditis. Claudius Lowe. Lakshmi Lokan. Chris Lowe. Paul Lopaktka. Candace Louis. Dominic Luca. Vic Mann. Graham McDonald. Tiffany Ma. Judy Maharaj. Michael Makarowicz. Jessica Mackey. Herline Mali. Aaron Massel. Raluca Manolache. Anna Maria Macelis. Anahita Matlobi. Ashley Mazzi. Paul McCullough. Kirsta McTavish. Jennifer Melansmon. Elizabeth Melnyuk. Megan Mercer. Jeffrey Miller. James Mitchell. Harrison Moore. Aaron Moyce. Nolan Montgomery. Jessica Morneau. Brian Morton. Nina Mudhar. Justin Morayo. Sashio Murata. Maria Myers. Romika Nair. Lauren Newton. Xiong Eng. David Eng. Shek Cheong Eng. Trang Nguyen. Sean Nugent. Jacqueline O'Callahan. David O'Neill. Samuel Oliphant. Joseph Paling. Christopher Paquette. Trevor O'Rourke. Nicole Parisi. Raquel Park. Thomas Pierce. Tony Ante Perkovich. Tyler Perry. Kelsey Peters. Aaron Petrie. Michael Pinter. Brad Pervette. Maria Puchek. Barbara Pugsley. Shamir Pujani. Jazraj Purawal. Dajana Rajlik. Serena Rakar. Reena Rama. Layla Rana. Joshua Randall. Corey Redekop. Lindsay Reed. Iana Ray. Golnaz Razayan Yazdi. Clayton Richardson. Corey Richardson. Brianne Riox. Chloe Rittinger. Siobhan Roberts. Andrew Joseph Robertson. Catherine Olivia Robertson. Natalie Sophia Razeki. Jaspreet Randhawa. April Ruttle. Tammy Salese. Mazdak Salahi. Siamak Salehi. Nida Sami. Karen Sandhu. Blake Sanford. Tina Sangra. Alia Sachu. Crystal Sawyer. Jesse Shell. Mark Sinan. Megan Shaw. Tyler Shears. Cameron Shirk. Robert Siebeloff. Annette Simpson. Akshay Singh. Alicia Skelton. Curtis Slingerland. Stacy Smallwood. Lisa Smith. Zoe St. Aubin. Christina St. Pierre. Trevor Stackhouse. Stephanie Staller. Brian Steffoli. Ian Stewart. Roberta Stinson. Matthew Straw. Christy Sumka. Brandy Spenson. Lawrence Sato. Sarah Tarsia. Gavin Busby Toms. Benjamin Timmermans. Diana Trapara. Lisa True. Myvi Truong. William Tully. Lisa Tung. Christine Vance. Okay, I'm ready. Martha Lucia Villatoro. Michelle Vine Arcand. Sherry Watkins. Leah Weiss. Chelsea Warren. Carmen White. Elena Thibault. Margaret Takausik. Vanessa Tong. Margaret Turcott. Kyle Verholst. April Vigner. Katerina Vevich. Michael Wang. Solomon Wang. Shannon Ward. Shannon Watkins. Crystal Wickie. Curtis Weeb. Natasha Williams. Adrian Whitford. Carney Wong. Zyle Wong. Perry Wong. Teresa Wong. Peter Warden. Jonathan Verbowski. Wu Chu. Hyeso Yang. Brianne Young. Isabella Zakazowska.
Will the graduating class please rise? I congratulate each of you on the completion of your degree, which is an impressive achievement, and I ask your friends and family, faculty and staff to join me in applauding the graduating class of 2009. Thank you. And now I invite you, the members of the graduating class, to reciprocate by thanking your friends, faculty, all who have helped you achieve this goal. Thank you. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, this completes the formal awarding of degrees. Some candidates recommended by the Senate for degrees today are unable to be present, and their names have therefore not been read out. I now admit them to the appropriate degrees as shown on the program. I have several thank yous to complete before we end today's session. First of all, for all of you for coming up onto the Hill today and helping us celebrate a very important milestone in the life of any graduate. Also to thank the many volunteer staff, faculty members, which was coordinated by the Student Service and Ceremonies and Events Office, who have helped work together to run a very smooth Convocation Day, and to the members of our 5-time world champion Simon Fraser University Pipe Band for their special contribution to Convocation. They will perform after the ceremony in Freedom Square just behind the platform. This now brings a close to the formal part of this afternoon's Convocation. Would you please all rise and remain at your places until the platform party has recessed?